Hey gang, welcome to October, welcome to 31 Days of Halloween, and the most special time for horror lovers. Actually, we love it all year round, but this gives a chance to, for us to talk about them, and bring in those people that just kind of like scary movies into our arena, into what I consider the greatest genre in film, and that is horror. We're going to start off October 1st by talking about Friday the 13th, one of the most iconic film series in the subgenre of slasher. Michael Myers is Michael Myers, and I know it's October, and I know it's Halloween, but I guarantee you there's more parodies and just regular things with people being scared with hockey masks than William Shatner's face. So let's talk Friday the 13th. Now, my set comes from the 10 set that they did of Friday the 13th. It has all of the films, including the remake, and we are going to talk about, I'm going to go through the book real quick, talk about a little bit about each film, but we're actually going to talk about part 2, which is my favorite, and the remake. So it's a beautiful box set. They are Blu-rays. Probably a lot of you people have these. So here we go with the original Friday 13th with Jason's mommy getting mad at everybody for having sex and smoking drugs, and not watching her son drown. She gets mad and causes chaos. This is part 2, what we're going to talk about here in a few minutes, where Jason gets mad that his mommy has no head. Here's part 3. Here's one that if you're not into the franchise, or you haven't really watched that many of them or whatever, if you don't know, this is where Jason gets his iconic hockey mask. He doesn't wear it until part 3. We have part 4, which is a fan favorite, and one of the most popular. This is the one with Corey Feldman, where he plays Tommy Jarvis, and he actually gets to kill Jason. So here we have part 5 and 6. Part 5 is notorious for like a cult following. It's not actually Jason. It is another guy using the stigma of Jason to kill a bunch of people that had wronged him. Part 6 over here, not such a great film. Talking about 7 and 8. 8 is very kind of fun, I guess. We have Jason Goes to Hell, which is We have Jason X, is also another cult following. You either like it or you don't. This is futuristic Jason. You just have to watch that one on your own. Then we have one of the most wanted films of all time, and that's the battle between them. Did it turn out okay? I actually kind of like it, but you have to see it for yourself, I guess. And then, of course, we have the new Friday the 13th. And, bonus. So this is the newer Friday the 13th, 2009, I believe. Friday the 13th and me have a very long past. I remember renting the VHS tapes when I was a teenager, and pretty much I had reign of whatever I watched. My parents didn't pay much attention to my content that I watched, and I guess it was good. I turned out okay. I haven't, I haven't killed anybody, so maybe I learned from these what not to do. Friday the 13th Part 2 is my favorite. Why is it my favorite? I believe it has the best, and this is very, very weird of me to say, story of the other two, and it's not even got that much of a story. But I really like the beginning of Jason. Now, in the first one, we have his mother who is doing all the killings because her son has not been watched properly and drowned in the lake. Well, in the second one, we find out, he's not drowned. He's still around. And he got to witness his mom get her head cut off. And he now is the psychopath, which basically, you know, all he wants to do is, hey, stay off his damn property and he probably won't kill you. So we have some really good kills in part 2. There is, let's see, what's my favorite kill in part 2? We have the 2 teens that are getting ready to have, well, they're having sex in the bed with the spear through both of them. That's a really good one. There's a scene where the girl goes out to skinny dip and the guy steals her clothes. He's hanging upside down, gets his neck slit. There's all kind of good kills, and that's what Friday the 13th mostly is about. There's nothing really to it. You're always cheering for Jason because you really don't like these assholes anyway. There's usually always a female strong lead that's going to come out in the end. And Friday the 13th Part 2 is probably the best of that. We jump ahead to the remake, which, did it have to be made? No. Did it turn out okay? Yeah, I really kind of like it. Derek Mears, the guy that played Jason in the remake, I had a chance to meet him a few years ago, and he's not the biggest guy to play Jason, but he's big. He's huge, and he is such a nice guy. He actually does comedy improv, if you've ever seen him on anything or whatever. And it's kind of hard to believe once you actually look at him and watch him as Jason. The remake is kind of a mix of 1 through 4 in a really weird way. It starts out with, you know, they give us a flashback of Jason seeing his mom's head cut off, and then we go into Baghead Jason, and then eventually he finds the iconic masks and puts it on. And what they did with the remake was they went through and they found all the greatest parts of Friday the 13th and threw them all together. You know, all the teen angst. All the teen angst, Mike. And put it all in there so Jason could just go around and take care of everything that's going wrong on his lake. And there are some really killer kills in this. The sheriff getting his eyeball shoved through the door towards the end is one of my absolute favorites. In Friday the 13th franchise history, 2 of my favorite kills have to do with sleeping bags. The newest one, the remake, he ties the girl up in the tree, up over top of the fire, and the bag catches on fire, which I'll talk about that in a minute. And then in one of the other films, he grabs a hold of a sleeping bag and smashes it up against trees, and I think that's one of the better ones. But anyway, back to the one with the fire. Why does he do that? Okay, instead of just killing her or whatever, why is he doing that? Well, this is a smarter Jason. This is a Jason that's setting these people up, setting traps. They take Crystal Lake and they have put it over top of tunnels, so that explains why you're running through the woods and then all of a sudden Jason's here, but Jason was back there. He's using the tunnels and coming up, instead of him just being supernatural. So they kind of make use of this so that they don't have to explain so much of the supernatural thing to it and just make him a not so smart guy that's mainly using his instincts as though he would have lived on the wood, you know, in the woods, nature. You know, he's a hunter. He sets traps. He's protecting his property. He's not really going out to kill people unless they come there. So, justifying is what I'll do with this. We always cheer for Jason. One, because you want to see him kill people, because that's the reason to watch a slasher. And 2, they do such a great job of writing these characters that get killed, because you hate every fucking single one of them. All of them. Even if they survive, you at one point wanted them dead. And you want them dead in the most violent, bloody way possible. So, that's Friday the 13th Part 2 and the remake, and we'll talk a little bit about the rest of them in the is it my favorite franchise? I believe Friday the 13th and Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street, I believe the first 4 films are solid as far as the slasher genre goes. And I enjoy all 4 of the first ones. Which one would I go to more? It's usually Friday the 13th. Halloween is my favorite of the slashers, but the go-to usually is Friday the 13th if I want to watch more than one slasher. So, there we go. Now, remember, if you're at camp, forget your drugs at home and keep it in your pants.